Hey CT, so I wanted to come to y'all and talk about the new gun laws that's going to be taking effect on October 1st of this year. The reason I wanted to do this video because I know that this new laws and bills that have passed have not gotten a lot of media attention, and there's a lot of my students and customers and the general public in Connecticut who are just unaware that these laws will be changing. I'm going to read them off to you and give you my opinion on them. So here we go. So effective October 1st, 2023, you will no longer be able to open carry. So whether you got a pistol permit or not, you cannot open carry. That means concealed carry. It goes into further detail. If you're printing, you're fine. But it would be considered, if your gun is exposed, you will be charged with a Class B misdemeanor for your first offense and a Class A misdemeanor for any following offenses. I don't know how and if that will impact your right to carry, if that means they will try to suspend or revoke your pistol permit privileges. I say privileges, although it is a right. However, in the state of Connecticut, it seems to be a privilege. As far as the 94 pre-ban, so any type of weapons, whether it's our others in Connecticut, whether it's pre-94, all of those are now considered to be illegal. Any other ones that were purchased, like a CT other, prior to June 6th of this year, needs to be registered as an assault weapon with the state police. The guidelines haven't come out yet, but I'm quite sure that they're going to be working on that. Pistols, a 3-month pistol. This is insane. Granted, I don't think that there's many people buying 36 handguns or pistols a year, but I still find it to be unconstitutional that they're limiting only 3 pistols a month, even if you have a pistol permit. The reason this bothers me the most is because, one, it impacts my business. If there's a customer who has a crap ton of money and wants to spend money on guns after guns after guns, it's their money. They have the right to do so. So it would reduce my potential income. And the other part is, what does it matter if someone buys 3 guns, 1 gun, 10 guns, 20 guns? You really only could use 1 gun, or let's say 2 guns at a time if you're gonna put 1 in each hand. So that rule is really, really foolish. Instructors can buy up to 6 handguns in a 30-month period. As an FFL, I couldn't transfer more than 3 handguns or pistols to any particular individual in a 30-day cycle. This is a good one. I'm not too mad at it. I don't know how they're going to enforce it at all. And I'll get the safe storage expansion. So effective 10/1, they went more in depth on the Child Safe Storage Act, or just the Safe Storage Act now, I guess is what they're going to end up calling it. As an instructor, a lot of these rules and things need to now be discussed and talked about during your pistol permit classes. I don't know how they're going to enforce a safe storage law. Only way that I see that it's enforced is after the fact. So if something happens where you have children or you have someone unlawful have possession of your firearm and you didn't give them permission, you left it on your nightstand or you left it in a closet, and your child or a child in general or anyone who's deemed not to be suitable to own a firearm was to do something with that firearm, you would be charged with a crime. I'm not sure as far as what the level is at this time, but there you go. Body armor restrictions. So prior, as you know, that I sell body armor, so this impacts me to a degree. You have to now have a pistol permit in order to purchase body armor in the state of Connecticut, long story short. And that's just it. So if you don't have your pistol permit and you're looking for a defensive way of protecting yourself, and we all know that the best offense is a great defense, so I highly recommend people look into body armor, because it's one thing to be able to protect yourself and be on the offense, but a lot of times people don't consider or take into consideration the fact that even in a gunfight, you could possibly be hit as well, no matter how much training you have, no matter how well you shoot. If the person is equally as good, or if the person just gets lucky and they shoot you, body armor is a great thing to defend and protect and possibly save your life. Pistol permit course requirements. This is really short, but it goes into effect on October 1st as well. I'll read this one directly. Provisions go into effect next year. So July 1st, 2024 requires new pistol permit applicants to complete a course including instruction in state law requirements pertaining to safe storage in the home and in vehicles, lawful use of firearms, and lawful carrying. Like I said, as an instructor, or if any instructor is watching this video in Connecticut, you know the laws, do your research on the gun laws, talk about the Child Safe Storage Act, talk about this new expansion act in your class, and you should be fine. I don't think that they're going to require that the NRA or the USCCA add a section in their PowerPoint presentations or in their curriculum to specifically talk to Connecticut laws. I think as a Connecticut firearms instructor, it is your duty and your responsibility to be able to speak to these laws. Or if you're in an industry, if you are an instructor, an FFL, or any type, whether you're just an athlete and you like competitive shooting, whatever it is, you should know the laws and how they impact you directly. And if you're an instructor, these laws impact you as well. So you should be able to articulate and transfer and relay that information to your students. Ghost guns. We already know that there's no such thing as ghost guns. What they're referring to is firearms that does not have a serial number. If you did not know, prior to 1968, guns did not require to have a serial number. So therefore, there are guns in the world without a serial number on it. The serial number is technically used to trace and follow the gun. We all know that people scratch off, grind out serial numbers all the time. What this is really combating mostly is 80% frames and receivers that are unserialized. So there were bill kits out there. The ATF has stopped it as well, but Connecticut is now putting it in their gun laws so that no one can ship unserialized guns, firearms to the state of Connecticut, which means you won't see ghost guns. Yeah, right. We all know that it doesn't take much to get a gun anywhere in the United States. It's just is what it is. I don't know how this impacts or do anything. I don't know if in Connecticut they've seen a huge influx of these unserialized firearms, but I don't know. I don't have any more to say about that. Carrying loaded long guns, others in motor vehicles or snowmobiles. So effective 7/1/2023, which has already passed, all long guns and other firearms are prohibited from being carried in a other, meaning CT others, which was the equivalent to a AR-15 just without a buttstock. They had pistol braces on it. The ATF now considers a pistol brace a buttstock. So let's just say, for lack of different terminology, an AR-15 or any type of long gun, meaning shotgun, rifles, are prohibited from being carried in a motor vehicle or snowmobile. This does not apply to carrying handguns with a carrying permit or pistol permit. Exceptions from law enforcement, security guards, and service members. Mind you, all of these laws always end up having the exceptions of law enforcement and security guards a lot of times, whether it's capacity laws, magazine capacity laws, open carry and things like that. They don't affect law enforcement officers, military, and security guards. Right there, if you can see right there, that is a 33 round magazine, Glock magazine. People ask me all the time, is that legal in the state of Connecticut? Yes and no. No, as a civilian, you cannot own it. As a law enforcement officer, they can come into the store and buy it without any restrictions, as long as they show their badge or their ID stating that they are a law enforcement officer. I'm not 100% on security guards, but I thought security guards, when they're on duty, are an exception to the rule as well. This has already been in effect, so okay, this is what they're doing. So large capacity magazines, which is not a real thing. They're standard capacity magazines, but in the state of Connecticut, any magazine that is allowed or has the capability of holding more than 10 rounds, they consider or deem to be large capacity magazines. With that being said, what they have changed is the fact that the penalty that comes along with being caught with one of these magazines will, it is still a Class D felony. And so if you are a law-abiding citizen, it only impacts you. If you are a criminal so it went from a Class A misdemeanor for eligible persons to purchase a firearm, and now it's a Class D felony. So they upped the ante, which means if you're caught with this as a pistol permit holder, you will lose your pistol permit. So I highly, highly recommend you do not carry your firearm with magazines that's larger than 10 rounds. It's not worth it. You lose a lot of your rights by breaking a foolish law to begin with, but I'm not here to argue that. I'm here to I'm here to inform you so that you do not make a decision that could and will jeopardize your ability to carry a firearm, and you will be considered a felon. Let's see what else. So they expanded the list of people who are prohibited from owning firearms in the state of Connecticut. That also takes effect on October 1st. And what it really includes is domestics. If you know me, I do not do domestics. I don't care if it's a brother, sister, cousin, mother, significant other, whether he's a male, female, if the person considered himself to be a light switch or a dog or whatever. I don't even do domestics with animals. It's just something that I never, ever, even with or without guns, ever was a fan of. So please, people, control your emotional ability or your stability. If you are emotionally unstable, please check yourself before you wreck yourself. Domestic violence is a no in all 50 states. Should be a no around the world. However, I'll get off my soapbox. Please Please, please, please keep your hands, keep your words to yourself, keep your feet, keep all objects to yourself. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Please don't threaten your spouse. Please don't threaten your brother, cousin, sister, whoever. Please do not make these type of aggressive movements or manners or whatever you want to call it. They will cause you to lose your rights. You will end up becoming a felon, or you will have a criminal record. A lot of people are losing their guns or their right to own guns every day because of their inability to regulate their emotions. Failing to report a lost or stolen firearm, effective 10/1, the penalty has increased. Increases the penalty for failing to report a lost or stolen firearm from an infraction to a Class A misdemeanor. I have seen multiple times people who report their firearms stolen and their pistol permit has been revoked. I'm not sure why all the time. It's not always clear, but I know if you leave your firearm in your car and someone breaks into your car and steals your car and your gun, you're in trouble. Especially if it wasn't locked up. If someone breaks in your car because they know you have a gun and it's hidden underneath your seat or it's just in your trunk, you are losing your pistol permit. It's just what it is. Sorry to tell you. I've seen it happen. I know people who are appealing it, who have lawyers right now trying to get their pistol permit back. It is possible. However, it costs you money and it costs you time, and you lose your permit in the meanwhile. With that being said, it is not expensive at all. It's like $40, $50, $60 to get one of those cases that you can lock your firearm in your car, put it around something that anchors it. It's tethered there. At that point, you are following the law. So if someone did break into your car and steal it, it was locked up. You did everything that you could do to prevent it. There we go. Let's move on. The rest of this is a lot of jargon that doesn't make sense. I have to dig deeper to make it make sense to me, but carry permit application changes, some provision later as specified. If a person is denied a temporary state permit, the issuing authority must supply the applicant a detailed written reason for such denial. I thought that was always a thing. After 32 weeks of no denial for applications filed before March 30th, 2024, and 16 weeks for applications filed after April 1st, 2024, persons can go straight to DESPP and file an affidavit to apply directly for their pistol permit. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense, but I'll find out eventually, I'm sure. During a major disaster or an emergency declaration by the President of the United States, or an emergency declaration issued by the governor due to any diseases, epidemic, public health emergencies, or natural disasters impacting a local authority, the Commissioner of Emergency Services and Public Protection shall not accept any affidavit as described above until 32 weeks have passed. So this part I do understand is get your pistol permit now. Because what this means is if something was to happen, they're shutting the state down. I'm not sure if this is a direct response to COVID-19 or what happened in 2019, 2020, 2021 or whatever that was. Or if they know something that we don't know and something else is about to happen. SHTF happens, none of you, all of you who have ran last minute thinking that you were going to just go to a gun store and be able to buy a gun, not happening. For those who thought that, I'll just now apply for a pistol permit and I'll be able to get it in a few days or a few weeks, not happening. That's not how it works. It is a process and it takes time. With that being said, if something happens and you don't have it, I'm telling you now, get it now. I told people for the past 15 years, get it now. Even if you don't buy a gun right now, get the permit right now so that you have the ability to buy the gun at will if something like that was to happen again. I think the next one is going to be worse. Whatever it is, whether it's civil unrest, I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Whatever happens in the United States and crap gets real, you want to be prepared. Or the ability to respond quickly, rapidly, you need to be able to do so. Let's start going further. Police take notice of firearm rights and risk protection order process. Effective 10/1 requires law enforcement agencies to display notice of people rights to obtain pistol permits, timeliness for the process. We know that New Haven specifically, definitely New Haven. I'm quite sure there's some other cities and towns like Hartford as well, but New Haven is notorious for making this process very strenuous and very long and drawn out when it doesn't have to be. They were sued during the pandemic. Additionally, laws section pertaining. We already know this. If you're a felon, if you suffer from mental illness, or again, domestic violence, it pertains to you. You're not getting your pistol permit. There's some other stuff that pertains to FFLs. It really doesn't change anything that I'm doing at all. Every gun that's sold from me to you come with a safety lock. But with that being said, in your home, please get some type of safe so that you do not end up in prison because you didn't feel like you want to spend $50 or $300. There's people out here with thousands of dollars of guns but won't spend $500 on the safe. There's people out here with thousands and thousands of dollars of firearms but don't go training. I won't go into that rabbit hole, but as always, safety is our ammo. Be vigilant out there. Stay safe.